There's always this big question. Why is everybody who covers Sister Wives so obsessed with the Coyote Pass location? I mean, we talked about it ad nauseum. Okay, they're never going to build on it. Why is it so interesting? Well, I can tell you why it's interesting to me. To me, Coyote Pass is a representation, a physical manifestation of what polygamy has to offer, especially as we've seen it on the polygamy propaganda program, Sister Wives. Now, take a walk and I'd ask you to give me a little patience, a little grace as I explain my perspective. If you look at Coyote Pass, it was presented to the family and the viewers, the fans, as this great opportunity for the family to be able to come together on one piece of land, for these individuals to unite on their own land. They're using their own rules. And if you look at what actually transpired, what happened? You had the wives who were convinced that they were going to sell their homes in Las Vegas, make this huge profit, easily transition to Arizona, develop, build, and then live on this big property as one big happy family. When we look at it, all I see is Kody's name is throughout the entire project. It's him. It's all about him. The move to Arizona was about Kody. The move to purchase the land, Coyote Pass, was Kody's desire. It was about Kody. There was very little consideration for any of the wives. Janelle and Christine both pushed back against the idea of moving from Vegas, not just because the family was already together, but they pushed back because their kids had assimilated into the schools and they've developed friendships, they've developed opportunities that were available to them while they were in those Las Vegas schools. And because they moved to Arizona, all of that was lost and kind of thrown back into the shuffle. But it was all done at Kody's request. And when we look at Kody's first presentation of the idea of moving to Arizona and purchasing Coyote Pass, this is what he had to say.
My rationality starts with this. We have a certain amount of profit in the homes, okay? Shared. I'm saying shared because where we go one, we go all.
He needed them all to go to Coyote Pass, which opens up another point that I wanted to make, another parallel. Kody said during this time that he was the leader, that he was going to lead the family, and whether they liked it or not, they were going to follow because he was going to cleave the way for the family. He was going to make the decisions. And what happened? He gets out to Arizona, he purchases this land, and where are we now? He purchases the land, and he wants to control who gets what, who gets how much of what, where the land is going to be split and how it's going to be subdivided. He wants to make all those decisions, but he doesn't have the money to do it. He's looking to the wives. Hey, do you have some change in your couch that maybe you could help us pay all the property off because I don't have any of the money? He wants to have all the authority, but none of the responsibility. That's part of the struggle that I see in the presentation of the Brown family's version of polygamy. Kody has all the authority. He wants to make all the decisions. But when he makes decisions, he fully expects the wives to do the back work to make those dreams, those ambitions, and those decisions come to fruition. There's a big difference here. When he approaches polygamy, he expected the wives to do the work. He wants to, I demand that I'm going to have 4 wives and I'm going to be the leader. But then when the family starts to fall apart, I've never seen Kody take responsibility for the family falling apart. I've never heard Kody say one time in a couch interview, you know what? The reason why this family didn't do as well is because of my failure of leadership. Instead, he did what most people who are in a leadership position who shouldn't be in leadership positions do. He blames the people who are supposedly following him. Kody doesn't issue orders. He just issues dictates, things that he wishes would happen, things that he wants to happen. He wants to have Coyote Pass built up and developed. At one point, he was talking about, I want to have 7 homes built on Coyote Pass, where we have 4 homes for each one of the family members, each one of the wives, and we have 3 additional rental homes. And when he presented that, he even said at the time, there's no way that this is going to happen. I'm just kind of saying that to them to stall them out. Why? Because ultimately, Kody understood this part of it.
Shelby, I moved here an idiot. We came here, and because our homes in Las Vegas were able to be built in 6 months, I thought, well, if we extend that time, we're a year or less, maybe 9 months, maybe a year. Impossible. So
just because they're so far out.
Infrastructure. Your infrastructure is your electricity, your gas, your sewer, your water. The Coyote Pass property has a big flood zone, and so we have to work around that. I was stupid when we moved here.
So he already knew that it wasn't going to happen. He knew that it would require development. And if you would have talked to anybody, if you would have done your research like any true leader would have, he would have understood these things. But because he didn't put the time, energy, and effort in preparing to lead them to Coyote Pass, lead them to Arizona, the whole project of the Coyote Pass property failed, much like his lack of preparation to be the leader in a polygamous family. He didn't have the conversations. He didn't do any of the internal work that is necessary for you to be able to lead this type of family. And because of his lack of preparation, the polygamous family, known as the Brown family, failed. And that's where I see a lot of the comparisons between Coyote Pass and the Brown family. The Coyote Pass, you have one big piece of land that's supposed to include all the family. You have the Brown family, that's one big family. But on Coyote Pass, each parcel is supposed to be subdivided, and even though it's sitting on one big piece of land, everything is separate. When you look at the Brown family and how they executed their family, the entire family is separate. You have Robin's house, Christine's house, Mary's house, and Janelle's house. They're all separate. There's also an illusion of control. When you think about the Brown family, one of the things that were told to us as fans when they first started the polygamy propaganda program, each one of the wives has a say in the family. They're all independent, strong women who can make their own decisions. Then, as we go through the seasons, we see that they can't make their own decisions, because the moment they start to try to decide for themselves what they want to do, they get a tremendous amount of pushback from Kody. When we look at the Coyote Pass project, this house is going to be your estate. It's going to be for your family. It's going to be for each one of the wives. They're going to have a say. But when you think about the Coyote Pass project, Kody is deciding how much of the land is going to be divided, who's going to get how much of the land after he divides it, where their plot is going to be, where their piece of land is going to be. He's trying to make all these decisions himself. So he gives them the illusion that they have a decision or they have a choice, but they don't. And that's also a parallel that I see between the Coyote Pass project or the Coyote Pass property and the Brown family's execution of polygamy. We also get into the whole thing of ownership. When we look at the Brown family, there was this presentation that each one of them owned their own separate part of the Brown family, and they brought their own flavor to the Brown family, and that's what made it awesome, because you had these 5 individuals who were coming together to form this great grained and leveled family. But when you look at it, it's all about Kody. When you look at Coyote Pass, that entire property is all about Kody. He's the one that decided what piece of property they were going to buy. His name appears on every piece of property, every stone, stick, and puddle poop out there has his name on it. This is Kody through and through. So this is why I say that when you ask the question, why is there such a strong interest in Coyote Pass? This is part of the reason why I think there's such a strong interest in it. This is the physical manifestation of the Brown family and how they executed their form of polygamy. When we talk about Kody moving out from Nevada to Arizona, and we talk about what kind of fiscal sense this actually made, Kody was very strong with his opinion about how much sense this actually made.
When it comes to land and mortgage payments and rent, we're paying basically 9 payments as our family. And that would seem strange to even a polygamist, I think. We had 4 mortgages that we had in the past, and that would seem strange to any monogamist unless they were an investor. Financially, it's ridiculous. Terrible planning. Terrible.
Terrible. Because you're spreading your resources out to so many things. It doesn't make any sense. When you think of polygamy, especially as it's applied to by the Brown family, from Kody's perspective, the idea that he could spread himself, he being the resources, his time and attention being a resource, and the notion that he could spread it out between so many different people and it stay viable would be a terrible idea. It wouldn't make any sense. This is part of the reason why I say that there's a strong parallel for me when I talk about Coyote Pass. I see the strong parallel between Coyote Pass and the execution of polygamy by the Brown family. This also means that as we close out Coyote Pass and we try to figure out how the wives are going to be made whole as they leave the Brown family form of polygamy, I would like to see them made whole from the time that they spent in the Brown family. And since we can't get back the emotional investment, the caring, the love, compassion, the support, the loyalty, you can't get those back. But the one thing you can get back, and the one thing that we all can take note of, is the monetary value that they can attain from being able to get their portion of Coyote Pass out of this particular person. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think I'm onto something? Do you think I'm full of bunk? Let me know down below. Leave your comment. Leave your take. I'm anxious to see it. This is My Take. I'm James. This has been My Take on Reality, and I'm out. 'Cause I've been living life.